Hey, do you ever have more than one family favorite of something that's similar? I do, and today I'm going to combine two of our family favorites, Cowboy Candy and $1,000,000 Relish. We're going to make a Cowboy Relish. It's not that hard because every time you make Cowboy Candy, you have leftover syrup. So instead of making the syrup that goes in the $1,000,000 Relish, I'm going to use Cowboy Candy syrup. So let me get started. I need to peel cucumbers. This one's crooked, so I'm going to cut it in half to make it easier. I'm going to peel them. I'm going to turn my dishwasher off. I don't want to leave this outer peel on because I don't want it to be bitter. So if I have a tiny little piece like that, I'm not going to worry about it. I'm going to cut it up in cubes, and I'm going to get 2 or 3 cucumbers in here, and then I'm just going to pulse it 2 or 3 times. I'll show you when I get there. On some of the cucumbers that I have been working up, they're a seedless cucumber because that's the kind I prefer just to snack on. But some of these are just the normal cucumbers, and they have the big rows of seed in there. And I don't want that in my relish, so I'll just have a big tablespoon, and I'm just running that down through there and getting it out. Okay, now we're going to put this in here, and we're just going to pulse it until we have some good sized chunks. 3, 4, 5 times, depending on your food processor. Okay, I have a half-gallon jar right here. The recipe calls for 2 quarts. Well, 2 quarts is a half-gallon, so I'd rather have 1 jar sitting around to measure with than 2. Keep going with these cucumbers until I get my jar full, and then I'll show you what we're going to do next. I think I have enough cucumbers right here. They're not cram-packed in there, guys, but I'll do one more just to be sure it's totally full of cucumbers. Real life, guys, real life. I just finished up with the cucumbers. We do have a full half-gallon here. Okay. So what I'm going to do with these is I have a deli bucket that I got from a local grocery store. You can pick them up. Some places charge $2 or $3 for them, or $1. Some places give them for free. Just go to your local deli and ask. They're food grade because icing came in them. So I have our cucumbers. Okay. And we're going to move on to an onion. Okay. I have a big old onion. We're supposed to have about 2 cups of onions. So we'll see how far we get with this one. Since I have my food processor out, I'm going to go ahead and just cut this in smaller pieces and run it through my food processor. There's no need for me to cry if I don't need to. Whatever type of onion you like best. Okay, and again, I'm going to put them in the food processor, and I'm just going to pulse them. Okay, I got the onion chopped up, and let's see how much that we have here. Get my knife out of my way. Okay, I have a little bit over 2 cups. Folks, don't throw this away. Put this in a Ziploc bag and put it in the freezer. And the next time that you need, say, a half, 3/4 cup of onion, just take it out of the freezer. That's simple. I do that all the time. And we're going to dump this on top of the cucumbers. Okay, the next thing is bell peppers. Okay, I mentioned with the onions that you can freeze leftovers. Well, you can with peppers too if you have an overabundance. This is fresh, but I also have several different colors that are in the freezer. You're supposed to have 6 peppers, green ones, and then a variety of red, yellow, orange, or whatever. Well, I have some right here. Lessen my freezer space and put it in the jar. I need 4 cups, so I'm going to measure out 2. And then when I dump that onion, I'm going to chop these up because I have them cut like for fajitas. I always cut them big, that way if I need them big I can. If not, then I can just zip them in the food processor for a few seconds and I'm good either way. Okay. I emptied this of my onions. No need to wash it because they're going in the same recipe. Okay, that is my first 2 cups of various types of peppers. And there we go. So let's just take it over here and we'll break these down into smaller pieces. Okay, I got done pulsing these. It was about 6 pulses, guys. They're still partially frozen. One more ingredient, vegetable wise. Just a jar, the 4-ounce jar of diced pimento peppers. That gives it a sweetness and a pretty color. Okay, I'm putting salt in here. The salt is going to draw the juices out of all the veggies. Stir it up good. I'm going to put a lid on it and I'm going to put it in the refrigerator for 6 hours to overnight. Okay, we have taken this out of the refrigerator. It's been in there probably about 8 hours. So I'm going to go ahead and get this canned up tonight rather than wait till tomorrow. It's been draining for about 10 minutes. There's still more in there. As you can hear when I'm mashing this down and see it oozing up in the spoon. So I'm just going to keep mashing for a couple more minutes till we get a little bit more out. But in the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and start heating up my cowboy candy syrup. That's what's going to make it a cowboy relish. Like I discussed earlier, whenever you make cowboy candy, you always have leftover syrup. And it's too good to waste. So I can it. I know. I'm frugal, what can I say? But I'm going to grab 3 of my cowboy candy syrups. Get my little handy dandy jar remover. Oh, that's okay. Pour that in here. As you can see, it's still thick, and there's still a few little jalapenos floating around in there. The recipe for the pickles that I'm going off of calls for a quart of vinegar and then sugar. Well, okay, it calls for the quart of vinegar and calls for 4 cups of sugar. So I'm going to start out with 3 pints and we'll go from there. I'm going to bring this up to a boil. And stir this a couple more minutes. And when this comes up to a boil, then we're going to put this relish mixture in the cowboy candy syrup. Okay, it's come up to a boil. So let's put our cucumber mixture in here. We're going to let it boil for 30 minutes to cook the veggies. Now I may need to add another jar of the cowboy candy syrup. I will let you know at the end of the cooking time. Honestly, I don't think I will. I think it's going to be enough, but if I need to add more, I will let you know at the end of the cooking time. Okay, our timer has gone off on the relish, so I have it turned down on low so it stays hot while we put it in the jars. Now these jars right here are very warm. I have my water heated up in my water bath canner. I do have my vinegar in there so I don't get the ugly white film on my jars. Okay. I always put my jars in a bowl to catch any boo-boos I might make. And if you've watched me very often, you know I usually have more than one boo-boo or blunder in every video. Okay, I'm just going to take the relish with my slotted spoon. That way I don't get just liquid in here. Guys, the smell of the combination of cowboy candy and $1 Million Relish is just awesome. Now I have to admit, we grabbed a spoon a minute ago and we tasted it. And I cannot wait for this to get cold. I thought the $1 Million Relish was my favorite. I think this Cowboy Relish is going to give it a run for its money. Take that off. I get my wet paper towel. I have water on it. You could also use vinegar. It doesn't matter. I'm putting a ring and a flat on there, finger tight, guys. It needs to be tight enough to seal, but not tight enough for the air in there to escape and pull the flat down to seal. And I'm sitting over in my water bath. I know that's not covered up yet, but guys, I'm not done. Every jar that I put in there, the water level is going to rise. And then when I get it done, I will cover them up by about a ½ inch to inch, something like that. Have you all ever made either $1 Million Relish or cowboy candy or any type of relish? If you have, let me know what your favorite is in the comments. I'd never made relish, honestly, until a couple of years ago. I thought, what's the big deal? Why does everybody want to spend all that time making relish whenever you can go buy a jar of Mount Olive in the grocery store? Well, I figured it out once I made it myself. Just be careful with this, guys, so you don't burn yourself because it is hot. It's hard not to get that cross-threaded when you can't hold it. Okay. Like I say, it's on there, and I back it off. My cameraman's over here hoping that some of this don't seal. Okay. hoping that there's leftovers. It usually makes about 3 to 4 pints, depending on how tightly you have your peppers and pickles and everything packed in the measuring cups. It looks like I'm going to get about 3 pints in a jelly jar out of this, maybe 4 pints. I think I'll go ahead and put it into a pint jar. Add any to that because I had extra liquid in there, as you guys can see. Folks, I think I'm going to run with 3 and save the rest of it, because in all honesty, we want to have some of this as soon as it gets cold. But I need to cover this up, bring it up to a boil, and let it boil for 15 minutes in the water bath canner. Okay, our timer has just gone off, so it's time to take this Cowboy Relish out. Okay. Don't you just love having to hit the end button? It just don't stop on its own. And he's like, what? Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you on that next video.